segment number 1. In 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to the Talon Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
I'm Fred.
I'm Captain Paul Tire.
And I'm Grant.
All right. Well, oh, man. What do you think about all these fires out in California?
Well, at least we got some DEI fire people.
You know, I have never seen more gross ineptitude or negligence or whatever.
Incompetence. Maybe?
Incompetence is unbelievable. And everybody out there running around looking like the Three Stooges pointing the finger at somebody else. It's y'all all messed up.
Yeah.
Well, I feel really bad for the people who live there, the victims of all income levels. There are people from one end of the spectrum to the other in more ways than one out there getting in the worst of this thing. Imagine 100-mile-an-hour winds with fire.
Wow.
I mean, that is
Imagine
like
100-mile-an-hour winds coming up, and your mayor shows up to go see the inauguration of the president of Ghana.
Yeah, gone, out of town.
and didn't hop on a plane and get right back there, and then got off the plane, didn't have anything to say about anything.
You see that reporter chasing her around, asking her questions?
Asking her why they cut $17 million out of their firefighters' budget.
Yeah, it did.
Well, because this wasn't going to happen.
They don't even have water in the fire hydrants, Grant was saying.
They
They
don't
have
the reservoir.
fire hydrants.
They don't have enough water out there. They have to get water from other places. They have to pipe water into that place because they live in basically
I heard Trump talking about there's a little fish or
smelt.
something.
the smelt.
Yeah.
You know, well,
Smelt.
I mean that's one of the dozens of environmental reasons that they do what they do out there in that left wing.
Well, that's the whole reason why they have so much fuel for the fires is because they won't do controlled burns. They won't clean up
But
anything.
controlled burns are good for the environment.
Well, they don't do controlled
They don't
burns in the
understand
town
that.
like that. But I mean, it's just imagine being in that. And if I was thinking from a religious perspective, and I was thinking about, you know, there's an argument to be made there that I'm going to prove a point.
hell on earth. Yeah.
I wouldn't
let
turn
me just
around
give you a
and-
little taste. I mean, but the thing is there are a lot of good people that live there that can't help the state politics, can't help
about
the
40,
programs.
about
can't
40% of them are think like we do.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. I mean, but just imagine if we have wildfires here. I remember there was a pretty bad one down around Panama City here a few years back.
And that was on account of the underbrush that was from the hurricane.
That's
right. And I mean, I called the other day to get a burn permit to burn some piles around my house, and they said, "Are you certified?" And I said, "Not for burning fires, no."
Yes, I am.
Yes. Well, I would have said but then they would have asked for a certification.
Certified what? Certified what? I don't want to
I
discuss
said no,
that.
but it's surrounded by acres of nothing but dirt, and it can't go anywhere. And I got a 500-gallon of water tank out here, and I got everything I need to put it out. I crank up a little Honda motor, and I have a bona fide fire hose on that thing. I can put out a fire if I need to. She goes, "Well, we're only doing certified burns." And I said, "Is it the wind?" "Well, they don't tell us why." I said, "Must be the wind because it just rained like 2 days ago and it's not that wet." But it is also after this fire started, so everybody gets a little paranoid.
Yeah.
Now, a week before, the wind was blowing twice as fast, and they gave me a burn permit. So I like the windy days because then you can get that fire to go across the underbrush a little faster. It's a little less work. But as a kid, I've had fires get away from me and jump the dirt road, get up in the trees, jump a dirt road, get onto the neighbor's property, and I went out and had to cut the barbed wire fence and disc around and put it out, saved the guy's house, and then he sued us because I had apparently burnt his orchard. There were some little sticks out there that we had planted some one year peach tree, my golf cart.
You got a golf cart in exchange for?
Well, what happened was he said,
What happened was
y'all burnt my orchard, and I said, "Well, saved your house. Well, you burnt my orchard, and I want compensation." And I can talk to Daddy about it. I was just I was in college and had a go-kart that we used to ride around town and run from the police. Stick a 2x4 in it, run in the fall, and drive through all the leaf piles and stuff, doing just juvenile stupid stuff when we were drunk.
I still do that.
And and I'm like, he goes, "Well, you know what? I could use that go-kart down there." And I said, "Well, you can have it." Well, it wasn't just a go-kart.
I want your go-kart and your dog.
Didn't have a dog. Couldn't have Ace. So he didn't want that dog to bite you. But
And maybe about and 3 dozen eggs.
Well, and I said, well, that's
and
what
a burrito.
So that go-kart, that's a story I ain't never told. That go-kart, I found that frame, and I went to some buddies of mine that they used to race go-karts, and they had a 5-horse Briggs motor out there with a shaved head, and it was set up to be a race motor, and I stuck that sucker on there and got a different kind of a centrifugal clutch and put on it. And I had the chain going to the tires, but the little old go-kart tires wasn't nothing. So I found another go-kart, and I took some tires off, and they were taller on the front, so it had that squat effect that all these idiots with the trucks have.
Yeah, that's it.
But I took the 2 tires off the front, and they have 4 bolts that hold the rims together to hold those tires there. So I took 2 of the bolts out, put longer bolts in it, made a set of dual tires like on a tractor on the back. So I had these wide dual go-kart tires on the back, and it'd spin that one side like nobody's business.
I'm not sure
we
I
camouflaged it up.
Camouflaged
it up.
And now you know you might be you are a redneck. It ain't no might be a redneck.
But the thing is when we drive it around town, everybody could hear it. So what I did was took a beer can and screwed it on the end of a straight pipe, and we stuffed it full of house insulation. And that wasn't quite enough, so we duct taped 2 aluminum beer cans together, poked holes in it, filled it full of house insulation, and went driving around, and all you could hear is poop, 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 going there. And then the law started chasing me one night, and I went to no, they caught on fire.
Okay.
So I had stuffed all kinds of crap in there, so the tape caught on fire. So now I'm trying to run from the law,
and you're on fire,
and the dadgum go-kart is on fire. And I run through what they were remodeling the old hospital over there in Mariana, and turned it into an old folks home, whatever you call those things, a retirement community. And they had a piece of dadgum survey twine. They were laying out the foundation of an expansion, and I'm looking behind me. I'm not paying attention, and I'm going full blast trying to get away from the police, who were friends of ours. And another buddy of mine running around with his hand, he's got a whip antenna on his truck, and I can see it. I know where I'm trying. And we're kind of playing chase around town. And I'm hauling butt through there, and I'm looking back, and I didn't see that twine, and that thing caught me right up underneath the ear.
Ooh.
And I came off that thing, and it flipped over, landed on top. We know the spark plug was sticking out the top of the thing.
Ow, 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 ow.
And it broke the ceramic part of the spark plug. Well, I got to get it going again, and so I'm reaching over there, flip it back over, looking for the police. Now I think I was like 18, and so wasn't old enough to drink, and I'm like, I got to get this thing home, or else I got to run home and leave it, one or the other. So I'm trying to hold that wire back on, what's left of the wire inside the spark plug, and crank it. And every time I pulled that thing, it would pop the fire out of me. And I finally got it to crank, but now it's loud because I've snatched all that hot burning stuff off the back. I jump on that thing, and I'm driving back to the house, and all you hear is oh yeah, I'm having to hold the thing to hold the wire on
right there, buddy. That's fear.
And I come tooling up in the yard, and they're coming out there. Hey, where you been? And it wasn't a little while later, the police come by and go, hey, we're looking for a go-kart. What is that over there? Well, that ain't the one you're looking for. And we looked over and looked at it and looked at me and goes, all right, y'all have a good night now.
That looks a lot like a bunch of paperwork.
I'm scuffed up. I'm bleeding. My hands hurting. I got oil and grease and everything. I mean, I tell you what, that was
my IQ just fell by about 20
Well, that's where I'm from, man. That's where I'm from right there.
Awesome.
You know,
I'm surprised I ain't told y'all that story before.
I've heard it.
That is 100% true right there.
Turns out
I got witnesses.
My son has started dating this girl.
Okay.
That apparently listens to, or found out about this show.
Well, I probably just ran her off.
Well, we thought we might have been hipping the boy now.
If she hears this episode, they're done.
Then again, she might be laughing, Fred. You never know.
I don't know. She said we reminded him of Duck Dynasty.
Well, that's hey, we have said many times that it's we're similar. There is some similarities there.
You could do a reality show about us out here. Have been for years. It'd been good there for a while when we were tearing everything up. We'll be right back. And we're back. So I looked up from the table, and lo and behold, we had a bona fide, by God,
special
celebrity
guest
walk in the door.
I get to sit next to him.
One of our you get what?
I get to sit next to him.
I thought you should sleep next to him. I'm like, I don't know how that came up.
I don't think I'm a fire chief.
I don't think Peter's cool with that, but. So the Peter Schweizer, the New York Times bestseller author. I don't even know the resume, but man,
it's long.
Peter, how have you been doing?
I've been doing great. Been doing great. I came here to pick up a gun that I ordered, and JD says, "Hey, we're doing the radio show. Come on back." And I came back expecting like this highly sophisticated,
conversation
media operation.
Yeah, you walked in on the go-kart story.
I did, and I heard that story, and I thought, man, I just turned 60. I thought, I've had a pretty full life, and I'm like, man, my life's nothing compared to the stuff that you.
I'm 58. That was a long time ago. Let me tell you a funny. This is something that came up the other day. I was in class yesterday teaching the sheriff's office in Jackson County patrol rifle stuff, and it dawned on me. And I back last October I turned 58. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought I was turning 59. Okay, so for the whole year that I was 57, I thought I was 58. I was telling everybody I'm 58. For the last year, I've been telling everybody my son's 13. He just turned 13 the other day. So apparently,
you lost a year.
I'm like, I'm
not shocked.
I'm like, well, now I'm 58, and I thought I was 58, so I got to do the whole thing over again. Live to 58 again, all over again. And I just hope that one day when I look back on my life, that 58 was a good 2 years. and it's a shame I missed 57. But now I got to do this whole thing over again. I complained about being 58 years old, being 2 years from being 60. It just was.
Well,
that's what
that's how stupid I am. I have to ask my wife how old I am, and she tells me. And the other day I'm like, yeah. So CJ just turned 14. No, he just turned 13. I said, well, I've been telling everybody he's 13. Dadgummit.
You don't know how old your kid is either?
Well, I was within a year. He's a mature 12. Now he's.
But you remember his name, right? I mean, it's not you're not one of these dads that like goes through a bunch of names.
His name is my name. His name is Charlie 2. We go by CJ because he got a different middle name.
Yeah, but you remember it. You
remember that. Yeah.
Why named him the same thing?
So I got to tell you this honest to goodness story. I just turned 60 about 10 years ago.
Are you sure?
I am sure. I'm sure.
Did you ask your wife?
I counted with all my fingers exactly. About 10 years ago, I went to a friend's birthday party. He was turning 60. This is absolutely true story. And I said to him, happy 60th birthday. I said, do you realize tomorrow you'll be closer to 80 than you are to 40? I have never heard from him since. Seriously, I am not kidding. I mean, his entire demeanor changed, and I have not heard from him since.
He's trying to call you. No, he bummed me out last time. I can't
talk to him never again.
He hurt my feelings. Oh man, that's I was listening. I was out on the piece of equipment one day clearing some land, and I had my cell phone playing podcasts and stuff. And all of a sudden, instead of hearing a well-known national news personality, I hear you.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, what in the world? That sounds like Peter Schweizer.
He hosted Hannity, didn't
you? You did.
Yeah.
You brought
Sean,
Eric Eggers there.
Yep. Sean's very nice, and Eric and I get to do it probably a couple times a year. I have a great time.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, those guys do it 3 hours every day, and then they have an hour of TV. I have like 2 weeks to prep to do the 3-hour show, and I'm exhausted after it. I mean, I don't know how they do it.
Well, we were asked here by Dale Bessie to try to do a 2-hour show one time instead of a 1-hour show a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were like, there's only so many stories and lies and exaggerations we can come up. Actually, but see, everything we say is true, so we would actually have to add to it, and it would give Fred more of a platform, and so then we would they'd run us off. So that's all we can do to rein him in for. What do we have, Grant? About 45 minutes of actual content.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But that was cool. I mean, I felt special. I'm like, hey, that's somebody I know. I mean, that's pretty cool.
It's fun. It's fun. We do it from here, and Grant, your producer, works with us on that too.
So you do that show over in Preston's?
We do that. We do that now from our office. We have a studio in our office.
Oh, you got one too?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
This one's a little nicer, though.
Fred, successful people have their own studios.
But yours is nicer than ours. I mean, you got these nice critters on the wall, and
you got a picture of me in a chicken suit up there.
Yeah. Is that you in the chicken suit?
It's me in the chicken suit.
In court.
In court.
Do I want to know this story?
It was Halloween. I was too chicken to go to trial.
He does something different every year.
I was a cow this year. I wanted to move the case. So.
Well, the funny part, Peter, we've invited you to go pheasant hunting with us a few times, and he showed up the first year he went pheasant hunting. He shows up, got off the bus wearing the hood, wearing the chicken, the rooster hat to his thing, gets off the bus up there, and it's just South Dakota's never been the same. I'll just put it that way.
We actually recorded the show from South Dakota this year.
Yeah, it's a beautiful state, but wearing that hat in that would make waves in South Dakota.
It did. Well, what made waves this year was there was a girl across the street that they had named Methalina.
I'm pretty sure you did.
You're the one that named her, Fred. So it wasn't they. It was a Fred.
Fred wanted a serenader with his 12-string guitar out there.
It was
by the campfire.
Didn't go over too well. I wasn't fast enough.
So the boyfriend, was that the jail boyfriend, or
the boyfriend was in jail, and she had some other suitors that were taking care of her while he was occupied.
Yeah.
And
her kids and the dogs.
And kids. She had a couple of mangy dogs out there as well.
It's a fun place. It's a good time. It's a good time. We'd love for you to be able to go with us.
We got to make it work. Well, you guys usually go in the fall, so we'll talk more. I'd love to.
Yeah, this year it will be the weekend of Halloween.
Oh, it will?
So yeah, we got our original dates.
Well, Fred won't be able to go, so he has to go to court in his costume.
Yeah.
So he has to fly back and forth. Just special for that.
I'll appear via Zoom or something. And,
so you missed your hog hunt this year.
I missed my hog hunt this year. We got a friend out north of Bay Minette in Alabama that likes our work, so we go out there. We go hog hunting and we go bird hunting. Quail hunting, which I love. I'm not terribly good at. I have to tell you, the first time we went hunting, which was 5 years ago, we went out, did a bunch of hunts, and we killed 150 birds. There's a group of us, obviously. And I said to Hamilton, who's the guy that owns it, I said, Hamilton, we shot 150 birds. That's pretty good, isn't it? And he looked around, he said, it took you 857 shells to shoot 150 birds. And I said, is that pretty good? He said, that's awful. That's awful. So, but I love it. It's just beautiful being out there. So I'm just saying, if it works for me to go hunting with you guys, just be prepared.
Well, if you'll come out here prior to and spend a little bit of time with me.
Yeah.
I'll get you in better shape than that.
I love it.
I can get you to 50%. Maybe,
okay.
So that's always my goal with a new shotgun shooter, because we talk about this all the time. Shooting a moving target with a shotgun is a absolutely completely different discipline from shooting a rifle or a pistol at a static target.
Right.
And it's your focal attention's in a different place. Anyway, we can fix that.
Yeah.
I can give you some simple things to do that will make you exponentially better.
That's awesome. No, I love it. I love it. It's beautiful being out there. And just, for people who haven't done bird hunting before, and I didn't do it as a kid, or I didn't do any hunting as a kid. I just love it. It's just beautiful being out there watching the dogs work. Yep. With the quail, you don't know, you're going to have a covey with 3 birds. You're going to have a covey with 13 birds. Which direction are they going to go? And, they gave me the advice early on, okay, number 1, don't shoot the other hunters. Number 2, don't shoot the dogs, which is even a bigger problem than if you shoot
it's $3,500.
Yeah.
Well, I have a bird dog, and I have land, and I have a pen full of quail right here. So we might talk after the show.
Yeah. No, that would be awesome.
It was I went out there. It got cold and went over there the other day, and there's about 12 of my quail got out of the pen, and they were hanging out by the door to get back in the pen. I'm like, well, let me see what I can do to catch y'all up, put you back in there. They were like, that's where the food and the water and the warmth is, and
that's where the warmth
and they're all talking to us. We want to get back in.
Yeah,
it's they had dug a hole, got out, and discovered quail are stupid.
Yeah,
they're stupid. They're I got some really pretty
little
ones
chickens.
Too.
Little chicken. The chickens are stupid too.
Yeah.
Got them quail eggs coming up yet?
No, it's not quite that time yet, Fred.
Yeah.
I may hold some birds back this year just to lay you some quail eggs.
I like me some quail eggs.
Well, they're not like regular size eggs for you though, ain't they?
Pretty good.
You could probably actually hatch crack those things. Like that's hard for me. My hands are too big.
Get 2 fried quail eggs for breakfast, and I'll be fine.
Yeah. Pickled quail egg. Paul's over there going, you ever had pickled quail eggs? I have. They're delicious.
Yeah. There's nothing to me, Peter, just going out when we go to South Dakota or just being on my place, just being out there walking amongst, the prairie and the agriculture and just seeing, blue sky and watching those birds fly and watching the dogs work.
Yes.
Watching those dogs work to me is I've got a little female GSP, tried to get her bred this last week or so, but she just absolutely was not having it. So I'm going to have to go dog shopping again to get another one. Thought we were going to have a puppy, but nope.
I got to remind me after the show, somebody called me up about a couple available bird dogs. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, from off a plantation that there should be good bloodlines anyway.
Well, my wife's all about getting them until I say I'm going to get one. She goes, we don't need another dog. I'm like,
well,
she's a little bipolar when it comes to wanting a dog
have dogs.
I
would for certain have these 2 dogs if I had a place to have dogs. So anyway.
When we get back, I want to ask Peter some opinions.
Oh, Lord, help us.
Here we go.
On what?
Peter, Peter, I know you were in a hurry to get out of here.
Tread lightly, Mr. Schweitzer. Tread lightly, Mr. Schweitzer. You never know where this is going to go.
Don't worry. I'll gag him and strangle him if it gets off subject too far. We'll just turn the camera off over there. So. We'll be right back. And we're back. So, all right, what were we going to talk about?
I don't know. Fred said he had a question.
I enjoy the conversations on the break as much as anything because then we can get real.
We can really pick on Fred like we normally do. So tell us about girlfriend.
Yeah.
I want to hear about girlfriend.
Oh, so.
And you can be honest because this segment doesn't air in Tallahassee.
She'll have to.
It only airs in Dothan.
She'll have to hunt this.
And so if she doesn't go to the blog, she's not going to hear it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. So apparently my son, this is the youngest son who just graduated from college. He'll be moving out here in about a week, and I'm very excited about that.
Does he know yet?
I don't think so. He's about to find out. I doubt he's going to be living at this girl's house now that this has happened. So anyway, he said something about his dad was on this show.
Okay.
And she had not met you previously.
She had not met me. And so then he starts getting these. I guess she went and looked up the show. And so he gets these random texts coming in, and he's down in the living room, and I'm with my wife, and he says, "Why are you talking about a colonoscopy on the radio?"
Because that's what we do. So there's that.
And other stuff.
We were really getting in depth on that subject.
Yeah, and it's like, I can't believe you told that llama story. That was disgusting. And I mean, these kinds of texts.
You just spit it right out.
Yeah, and so. All right. and so this is going on. He thinks that that I've ruined his relationship by embarrassing him by talking on the radio. So turns out the girl's gone back and listened to almost every story. Every episode that we've had. And she's now addicted to the Talon Outdoor Show.
Oh, she actually likes it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know.
And so then so now I'm like his best friend,
Cause he's getting in good graces with the girl.
He's getting in good graces with the girl.
Yeah. And he might want to hang on to her if she likes us. It'd be all right.
She can't be all bad.
Can't be all bad.
And,
well, have you met her now?
I did. She's very polite. She actually came over to the house last night for the first time, and my wife and I met her. She brought my wife some flowers.
Well, she's trying to get in. She's trying to get in good, but
I don't know what she.
No boy, then.
How tall is your son?
He's a little taller than I am.
A little taller.
Everybody in Fred's family is a little bit taller than him. I've met.
You know, it's funny how that works because
he definitely sat on the high end of the table.
I got one kidney.
Okay, congratulations.
No, that's why I'm.
That's why he
doesn't
have much of a filter.
I got bad.
What was that show you remember? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, Gary Coleman.
Yeah, that guy. Mm-hmm. He had one kidney.
Okay,
that's why you're sure.
My daughter has one kidney and she's normal size.
I've got one kidney.
And he's normal size. He's 6 foot. You over 6 foot tall, aren't you?
What happened to your other one?
What? Well, it was removed surgically, but I was young.
I was born without one.
Seriously, is that related to height?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it has to do with his family.
I didn't find out I only had one kidney until I was 40 years old. And I was like, I hadn't been to New York in forever.
He was just running a litter. He couldn't. I'm going to leave it alone.
What does having one kidney and going to New York have to do with anything?
Well, I mean, usually you go to New York, you wake up in an ice bath, and one of your kidneys is.
What's this young lady? Can you say this young lady's name or nickname or something?
If he remembered it, he could.
Her name is Delaney.
Okay.
Delaney, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
If you listen to the shows, you know.
It's got to be fun and exciting at the Conrad house.
There's always something going on.
That's what I'm talking about.
There are more stories that are not aired that we would be happy to give you a little bit of ammunition.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I pulled out the lit elf last night before I started talking to her.
I was going to say, last time I was at the Conrad house, it was way before noon, and you was drinking tequila straight
that wasn't my fault. My wife put tequila in the water bottle. We were going hunting, and I take a swig thinking I'm drinking water, and it's straight tequila.
So just to explain,
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Lit Elf is it Stoli Elite?
Stoli Elite.
Yeah, and it's got the Elite is spelled in a weird way. We were in South Dakota one year, and I went, "What you got that Lit Elf for?" Because it was, to me, in my condition, that's what I read it. It's Lit Elf, and I'm like, "Well, that's appropriate." All right. We will be back in just 1 minute. And we're back.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things going on in the country. I mean, I don't want to get off any one particular subject, but I think Fred may have an odd question or two up in here.
I want to get your take on this whole lawfare Trump sentencing. What do you make of this? Why even have the trial? How much did it cost the taxpayers to put this kangaroo court on? And what did they get for it?
Yeah, what they wanted to get for it was Donald Trump in jail, and they couldn't get him in jail. They tried it, in the state level in New York. They've tried it at the federal level down in Atlanta, and they wanted to literally put the new president-elect, when he was a candidate, in jail to get him, get him out of the.
You think they would have gone that far?
Oh, absolutely. I think if they felt like they could have gotten away with it, absolutely. Because you got to remember, they convinced themselves that he's basically Hitler. And who wouldn't say we got to get Hitler off the stage? They convinced themselves of that, and I think now a lot of people that even voted for Kamala Harris feel manipulated because now they're all palling around with him.
I think they're sitting. He's sitting next to Obama at Jimmy Carter's
and laughing and
cutting the fool.
And the Morning Joe guy, Joe Scarborough, went down to see him. It's like, you want to have breakfast with Hitler? I thought he was Hitler. So that was the goal. They didn't accomplish it. The recent sentence, you mentioned this earlier. Yeah. You're the attorney, so I'm going to defer to you. But they want to be able to say that this guy's a convicted criminal. That's what they want to be able to say, even though it's a meaningless crime where there were no victims. This is the fraud case, alleged fraud with the financial records, even though none of the banks, none of the quote-unquote victims.
Yeah, the case doesn't stand up on appeal. There's no question about that. I mean, it violates all kind of fundamental principles. I mean, the jury's given a multiple choice, pick your crime to go along with this other predicate statute. And you can't do that. That violates without a specific finding. So you don't even have a unanimous jury on a criminal case, and that's not going to fly. I don't see it. Even the New York Court of Appeals, which is their Supreme Court, I don't even see them upholding it.
That's good news.
Well, this disposition allows him to appeal. So that
it does allow him to appeal because there's some finality of the judgment. Now, he didn't want to get sentenced. I kind of, I wouldn't have advised him that. I would have said, yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing.
Let's get it over with.
Get it over with and get you up in the appellate courts, because I think he wins in the appellate court. But I'm just wondering, I mean, why did this judge do that? What did he think that he was going to gain?
Especially, well, I think it was they were trying to get it pushed through. One of the things that Joe Biden has said he is mad about with Merrick Garland was the pace at which the federal stuff went on.
Right.
I think they were trying to get this conviction and this stuff before the election so that they would make it more unelectable.
And for him to say that, it confirms that this was a political persecution all along.
So they did what they accused him of doing.
Precisely.
Right.
It was and what I think what we as conservatives have to be careful of is that now we don't go back and do what they did. That's the danger.
We don't like this stuff because we don't like the abuse of power. We don't trust people with power. So now let's not take vengeance but to your question about why the judge did this, I think you look at this judge. I mean, he seems like a goofball. You probably have a better legal sense of him than I do, but you think about this guy. He's probably looking at this saying, okay, we got no victims. We've got this quote-unquote conviction that's probably going to be thrown out. But I live on the Upper West Side with all these people that hate Trump, and I got to go into my apartment building. I got to do something. So this is a way of saying, well, look, I sentenced him.
I did what I could do.
I did what I could do, and now I can get along with my neighbors, even though it's just legally ridiculous.
Well, he made a pile of money off of it, too, and gagged the president from talking about it. That's the other thing. I don't think anybody has pointed out, at least I hadn't heard anybody point it out, but now that this sentencing has taken place, that gag order's gone.
Yeah.
And he can say whatever he wants, and I hope he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tend to disagree with you that we shouldn't go after our opponents. I think, they started it.
Yeah. Well, I think if they, to your point, if they
shoot my dog, I'm gonna come shoot yours.
To your point, if they did things that broke the law, if there were things that were corrupt, absolutely, I agree. What they did though to Trump was they made stuff
Trump up charges.
Yeah. So to your point, and that's why I think you look at the Department of Justice. I think Pam Bondi's going to be a great Attorney General. Go in there and look. If these guys are abusing power, if they were leaking to the media, if they were using, throw the book at them. I mean, the actual crimes that they committed.
Fauci ought to be prosecuted for perjury.
Yeah.
I mean, he flat out lied.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Under oath.
Well, elections have consequences.
And I think the people in California are starting to see that.
Well, unfortunately,
no doubt.
I don't know. I feel bad for those folks, but you know what? I wonder how they felt about us when hurricanes were wiping through here. Do they really think about it that much? Do they really care that much? I don't know. I mean, I'm looking over there and I'm going, I'd a whole lot rather a hurricane hit than that mess right there, because I'd rather get hit in the head by flying debris or drown than I would get burnt to death. I just don't,
I mean, these people have lost the entire neighborhoods.
And their insurance has been being canceled and dropped and everything else. And of course, I kind of feel that in Florida because the insurance situation over here is pretty doggone rough too.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see that getting any better across the country or the globe because, feel how you want about climate change. It's a natural occurring thing, in my opinion. But as things change and weather patterns get worse,
which makes obtaining Greenland attractive. Yeah. Everybody's like, why in the world would you want it Greenland? I said, because you can sail through the Arctic right now. You can run a boat up there where you used to couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the way down to the Gulf of America.
All the way to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
Well, the problem, if we get Canada, I wouldn't mind the land, but that means we got to get the Canadians.
Well, we got to divide it up between conservative and liberal states.
They are just simply added as territories. They get no votes at all.
Oh, there you go.
They get no votes.
Hold on a second. That means we could go to Canada and hunt a whole lot easier now than we could before. You won't have to worry about going across the border with a gun and all this other stuff.
There's still going to be Canadians there.
You know what's
we can push all of them over to Quebec push all of them to that one province and say, all you people that want to be California, and give us Calgary and the other side where they got cowboys and oil wells and and people we hunted with some guys from Canada down in Argentina, and they were awesome.
Cool guys.
They were awesome guys. These are roughneck oil wells. They were awesome. We had a ball with
the guys from Saskatchewan would welcome us as liberators.
Yeah,
I played video games with some cops from Canada, law enforcement guys, and
they can't take their guns home.
They have to leave their guns at they can't take their guns home, and their rifles have to stay at the gun club. They have an AR-15. They can't even have those now, but the had to stay at the gun club in a locker, and they could shoot them at the range and couldn't take them home. And I'm like, y'all. And I was telling them what our laws are, and man, that's crazy. So now they're vacationing down here and talking about moving down here, and I'm like, well, you just keep the craziness. That's all the migration to the south from all those states up there. Y'all keep your politics. But the funny thing is we've moved more and more people into the state of Florida, and we're not purple anymore.
Yeah,
and so the right people are coming for the most part.
The people that are leaving California and Washington State that are coming to Florida or Texas, they're leaving for a reason.
Well, it more solidifies their left-wing position, too. So we're becoming, as a country, we're becoming more and more divided.
Yeah, and here's the interesting thing, by the way. If you look at, like, California, they have all the electoral votes. They're the most populous state. If you took away illegal migrants, the estimates are they would lose 6 congressional seats.
Really?
Because the way we do the census, it's not just citizens. It's anybody living there, including people that are there illegally.
Didn't Trump try to change that last time?
Well, we just built some more prisons.
He
and
did.
Get our
Courts
numbers
threw it
up.
out, but they got to stay at that.
I think they do.
Yeah.
And we getting a signal?
That's interesting.
That was the finger.
That was the don't start. That was the don't start a news story. We can keep talking about the same stuff.
Well, they were talking about trading Minnesota for Canada. I'm like,
well,
why don't we just give them Minnesota?
Funny is none of this would be up for discussion if Trump hadn't got reelected. Just the fact that he's back in, people are having conversations about things that never would have come up before. And some people
it's
are
like this show. It's like this show.
Yeah. Well, some people are going, well, it's just a distraction to get your, look over here while I do this over here, and I'm like, yeah, but it's entertaining.
It's fun.
Oh, I love it.
It's fun. I've enjoyed the heck out of
you make the president of Mexico mad. I'm all right with that.
I'm fine with taking over the Panama Canal.
Yeah.
Well, we probably should have never gave it up in the first place,
no
matter what the treaty said. We'll be right back. And we're back. So,
well, we thought about letting Peter do the fishing segment, but then we heard what he was going to talk about.
Yeah,
and it was.
I'm like, we might have something interesting to add, but then no.
I'm gonna take you fishing. I would love to. We'll go. We'll do it.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate you, buddy. Hey, have a good one.
Appreciate you being
Good
here.
to see you, Peter.
So,
I like him. I like the way he thinks.
Yeah,
I like the way he talks.
That is why he's a best-selling author, and that's how he makes a living.
Good choice of employment.
and now Grant's got to go back and explain why he's not at work.
So a lot of people don't.
This is work. What are you talking
about? Are we recording?
A lot of people. Yes, we
Okay.
are. We are on the air. A lot of people don't understand who is in Tallahassee.
Yeah,
and so. It's interesting when you're sitting there listening to a national broadcast and you hear, or you pop up Fox News and all of a sudden there's Peter Schweizer up there, and having read his books and know all this stuff and know the man like we do, it's just kind of cool.
Yeah, he just I don't think my mother-in-law just gets so excited, because she watches Fox News from the time she wakes up till the time she goes to bed at night, and she just, oh my gosh, your friend is Peter's. She'll call me and anytime he's on the news, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. He's just Peter to us.
Well, Fred's son's girlfriend will now know that her boyfriend's dad hangs out with the likes of Peter Schweizer.
What did you say?
He was doing
I
a
don't know
little.
if they've reached boyfriend status yet.
New girl.
Oh, they will be after listening to this show.
They probably will.
Well, Fred says, she thinks I'm some kind of celebrity like The Rock. And I said, you mean like a pebble? Well, that's what we're going to start calling him, is the pebble.
Pebble.
Pebble Elf.
Did you bring that to talk about?
No, that's a holster they made for
No, he was
my
just
new.
been playing with it the whole show.
I was telling Fred before the show started, I had a customer from New York when I was doing the show, when I called in one Friday, and he said, Talon, do they make holsters? I said, yes, sir. That's the people. He said, oh, man, they're good.
Well, Fred got
several people mentioned that.
Did you obtain any remuneration for your fishing trip? That was.
Oh, I did actually. For
we're sitting there on the we're on the break, and Paul's talking to Peter about some of the national issues and stuff, and out of the blue, Paul goes,
"There should be some remuneration for that."
There should be, yeah. There should. Has anybody discussed remuneration for this? Something. And me and JD looked at each other like, where did he learn that word from? I said, that man has been hiding his intelligence the entire time he's been coming in. He is way smarter than we give him credit.
Every time I get in the car and come below, about Quincy and further down, I listen to WFLA. You can learn a lot listening to WFLA.
I thought maybe you had one of those word of the day things.
Well, he knew he was finally, after all the times he's come and been on the show, he was finally in the room with a smart person, and he wanted to use that word.
Show it off. He's been holding on to that for a minute.
And he used it right. And I'm like, we got to be careful from now on. Paul's snuck in here on
Don't ask him to spell it.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it.
So you out on the water in this cold?
Yes, and I was going to go this afternoon, but I think we're going to have some rain coming in time we get back. But
they said there's like 100% chance. So I'm going to trust that it might rain.
It's going to rain this afternoon. And I had some folks coming in this weekend, but they were like, man, it's supposed to get 3 to 5 inches of snow in Atlanta, and I don't know if I want to pull the boat through Atlanta in the snow. I said, well, we'll just push it out. But, so man, the crappie have been biting well, guys. And I've been seeing a bunch of ducks on the lake.
Really?
It's about time. They've been late getting here this year.
Yep. I've been finally starting to see them.
So we're recording this at Friday afternoon about 1:15. I just pulled up the map. It be snowing in Hotlanta right now.
Yep.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yep. I just had someone call out before the show started.
It is
snowing up there.
Yeah.
So by the time y'all hear all this, that rain will be gone.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Oh, okay. See a lot of boats out on the water?
I've been seeing some. Not a bunch. The last few days it's been kind of cold out there, but man, the water temperature, JD, has dropped down to 51, and it has bunched those fish up. The crappie, I had a trip this Wednesday with some folks, and man, we were catching them. It was fun. You'd have all 3 people catch them at the same time. It was cool. It was fun.
I talked to Jim Hanshaw, the rod and reel repair guy in the building here with us, and he said they've been tearing the speckled trout. And
speckled trout are moving up in the creeks.
Yep. And he said some in the river and oyster bars. He said they've been tearing the specks and catching some nice redfish. He said a lot of overslot size redfish, but heck, that's a lot of fun.
That is fun.
Let's give Jim a plug. Jim's Rod and Reel Repair.
Yep.
Right here in the building with us in Midway, not in Dothan, but over here. What all does he do over there?
Man, he can fix any reel and rod. I mean, he works on reels. He repairs reels. He can upgrade and fix rods. He can upgrade reels. He's done some reels for me. I like some of the old school. I've got some bait casters that are as old as I am or close to it. That are 40, 50 years old. And he can
Garcia's.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And some speed spools, some loose speed spools. But he can go back in there with the new technology and put ceramic bearings in there, and you talk about just make them so much smoother. But he's worked through probably a dozen reels for me over the years. But he also builds custom rods. I've got 2 of his custom rods that I told him exactly what I wanted. As far as the length and the style grip and the action, I wanted specifically for pulling crankbaits in the river, and I wanted a shorter rod, pretty limber that I can accurately cast. And we went through this whole process, and he built one. That's the one you engraved the cork handle on there for me, and you burned that symbol on there for me, and then I had him to make me
another one on there you ain't seen yet, but.
Anyway,
you gotta get a magnifying glass to see it.
JD, what length rod is that?
It's a 6 foot. It's a 6 foot rod. It's a very slow tip, slow action.
Put it anywhere you want it, can't you?
I can throw it in a 5-gallon bucket at 20 yards away, and it pulls. It's a modern copy of an old Lew's speed stick bait caster.
Wow.
And we went through and played around with it, but he just built these gorgeous rods for me that just fish like nothing else.
And he made the one I'm going to use for shell cracker. I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, that's one that I kind of we wanted to build you something that for fishing and for shell cracker beds.
Yep.
And
when they get up in them reeds, they'll get you got that cut grass up on Lake Seminole. They'll get up in that and start bedding in that first. And you hook one, you want to bring him straight up and out. And I cannot find a stiff enough rod to be able to get them straight out of it. You know what I mean? And that's I can't wait to use that. It's going to be really good.
So what about the stripers? Are they
the water got muddy and the stripers just
dispersed.
It still hadn't cleared up?
Nope, it didn't clear up.
So are we done? No stripers this year?
Unless something changes, yes.
Okay.
But if y'all want to come and do some live scope fishing, do some crappie fishing, talk to your buddy. Now let's get
all right.
that.
Well,
it's fun.
We both want to catch. We've never caught a striper.
They get running again in about May. You notice remember that, JD?
Yeah, you'll get some April, May still in late March sometimes.
Yeah.
You'll get them. Is that early? And they'll get ganged up. It's good. I mean, it's just they are. I think they're. I'm not a biologist, but I think they're highly site dependent.
They are
fishing so you got to have the little bit of water clarity so they can see the bait.
Yeah, I had a trip one day where this live scope. I always thought stripers and hybrids they're constantly moving. But there was one day where I caught them when they were sitting still on a hump and just sitting there, and you could throw your bait out and watch it fall to them, kind of like you're crappie fishing, and kind of work it past them. They would nail it. They were 5-6 pounders. It was awesome. Huh. But that's something I usually see hybrids and stripers are constantly moving around. This day they were sitting still. First time
bass biting.
Huh?
Bass biting?
Bass are starting. The bass bite has been good. It's been very technique specific right now, but it's fixing to get really good as we go into February. That's the best time to fish Lake Seminole for bass, I think.
Yeah, that's when
the pre-spawn.
Yeah, the pre-spawn. That's when the
crankbaits.
Yep. Well, the records, the BASS tournament records have all been set. The lake records for Seminole have all been set in February.
Yep.
Are those fishing bass off the beds? Or?
No. This is pre-staging. David Fritz, caught a 60. Was it a 60-pound stringer fish? 60-something pound limit a few years ago.
Yep.
On Lake Seminole and crankbaits in the stump fields.
Yep.
Yeah. All the girls are big that time of year. I mean, they've been feeding and they're staging up, getting ready to go on the bed. They're eating everything that moves. It's when the magic happens on Lake Seminole if you can stand the cold.
Yeah, I mean it's the cold.
It's not pleasant fishing as far as the weather goes, but the catching part is pretty dang good.
Yeah, it can be very good.
Just have to wear warm clothes.
Yeah, I don't like the cold. I'm just
layer up.
Me and cold don't get along.
Yeah, it's I've had some magic days on Seminole in the cold weather. It's just
me too.
You got to wait. I mean, I wait after hunting season, but it's it's good. The crappie, like you said, this is crappie fishing weather right here.
That's
when
right.
It gets real cold, they get a sockeye or whatever you want to call it.
And that's some good.
And they're fun and it's good eating. So
yeah,
tell folks how to get a hold of you, Paul.
Man, they can give me a call at 850-264-7534. And or you can reach out to me on Facebook at Captain Paul Tire Fishing.
All right. See y'all next week.
Yep.
See you.